Still connecting. It's taking a long time to connect. There I am. There I am.
Bittersweet heat is suffocating. I'm waiting and always hesitating. Kryptonite desires set my heart afire. Heart on fire. Set my heart afire.
All right.
Bittersweet heat is suffocating. I'm waiting and always hesitating. Kryptonite desires set my heart afire. Heart on fire.
All right. What is this really doing over here? They weren't doing anything. It's interesting.
With crimson secrets and forbidden bliss, can't stay still, don't stop that day.
Okay, let's see what I'm gonna do here.
Crave your skin,
I'm gonna crop it.
mistakes ignite the silence. Nightmares creep while you and me repeat. This bittersweet heat is suffocating. I'm waiting and always
see.
hesitating. Kryptonite desires set my heart afire.
Alright.
Heart on fire. Set my heart afire.
Alright, this young man has some really good expressions. Let's see what I can do with this. I can bring in his eye a little bit right here. Maybe.
Connect the dots straight to the start of intoxicating want.
I really want to keep his eye. That's what I'm after.
Set my heart
As you can tell, I was practicing with my pen. It'll drive me crazy in this program, unless I specifically need a pen. Fire is a funny thing to play with. Like, you don't know if you just want the shapes. What shapes do you want? Do you want all the little intricate parts? So I don't know. Sometimes I just try to see what looks right at the end. These are some brave lads. That's pretty much all I can tell you. So much of his face is in shadow. See that giant shadow right there? Let me turn this down some. Down a little, just a little, like. Okay. It's like a little or none at all. Like a smidgen. There we go. Okay, so as you can see, there's like a huge, his eye is already black. Okay. And then there's this huge shadow right here. So when you look at it from a distance, it's like, oh, okay. Well, because you have harsh lighting, you're getting some really good shadows right here. It's really interesting, but because I was watching Jasmine Colors and Morbid Dinosaur, I watch them frequently, and they were just talking about inking, and if they were inking this, one of the things that they would have really looked for are these really dark shadows. This is what you see inked when you look in comic books. This is how this is how harsh it would have to be. These would be the midtones, which look like cross-hatching. And this is what gives your form shape, I think is what they were saying. So this is one of the reasons why I'm like, you should absolutely positively go and watch me work and learn how to draw if you want to take photographs, if you want to be a photographer. So my husband just walked in and looked at me like, oh, you're streaming, and he left. So this is, I would absolutely positively, there are other videos out there, but here's the thing about going on watching it. It's almost like immediate satisfaction. Like if you want to know something and somebody's streaming, you could absolutely positively go into someone's stream who's doing what you're working on, and you know, look and see for yourself, like, okay, what they're doing, why they're making the choices that they're making, all of that. And they're pretty friendly. They're very friendly. In fact, if you go in and talk to them, they'll talk back. But as you can see, like, it seems like I just favored this guy. No, this guy brought in some really good light into his shot, into his stuff. Right now, this dude is perfectly within the shot. This is what, when they say you need really good composition, this is good composition. And I'm not just saying that because it's my picture. I'm saying that because it literally is. Where is he standing? How much positive and negative space? So you could almost like go from here and go all the way down and see as much stuff in the light as you pretty much would see in the dark. He is the story is about him. This shot is about him, and he is pretty much dead center where he is supposed to be for you to see him. In other shots, I would gain by cropping him, but on this one I won't, so there's no reason to. So I know this is a good shot. So what would I do to make this an excellent shot? And this is where the problem comes in. Like, you know, I lucked out. All the lights are in the right places. There's enough dark to go with his light. There's enough dark. There's enough light. There's backlight. As you can see, this is the light reflecting from here. You know, it's outlining this part of his face. This part of his face is full. He's almost in full. He is actually in full profile, and he has his body in such a good stance. Look at the curve down here where his hips are. You can see that. You can see the swing of his step. You can see the arc of his foot. You see where the position of the fire is on either side of him. Fairly balanced. So I have some good shots in here, but you know, something like this definitely catches my eye, because when I look at it, I go, oh wow, you know, look at the glow coming from the ground. And you know, so just to see like where I can take it, I'm gonna go and throw a vignette on here, and sure enough, right there, because I really wouldn't need a lot if I were to even put one on here. Let me turn that up some. Now, when I turn up these highlights, I want you to watch this fire and understand why I have to make the choices that I make. So I could, you know, turn it up. I'm looking at him, but I also have to look at that. So I'm looking at him going, okay, well, how much fire do I need to really see him and to see his face? Well, here's the thing. In fact, let me put this back to 0 and clarify it. Alright, that gives me a whole lot. Okay, so now, as you can see, oh my gosh, dude, I didn't even see this chick before. What? It's only a little creepy. Anyway, yeah. Well, here we go. Do I need to turn that up just a little bit? I can. And blacks. Alright, so let me think about what I'm doing here. Let me turn it up just a little bit more. Because I'm losing his hair. Hold on a minute. Where am I at? On exposure, I haven't changed it. So let me go all the way up. Oh, I wouldn't have been able to see his hair. No way. See, his hair is the... See this? There's no way I could bring that back out. Like, psst. It's the same color as the background. You know what I'm saying? That's not going to happen. So, put that back to 0. I mean, I could bring it up a little bit. And really, I don't know if there's too much more I could do to that without screwing it up. Like, literally. Those shadows are beast. I might want to go down here and smooth it out a little bit, but not without sharpening it first. I gotta sharpen that some, and then I could smooth it out some. Alright, so let's get rid of some of this noise. It is nighttime, as you guys all know. If you don't know about noise and nighttime, it has to do with the sensitivity of your camera. The more you make it so that the camera can see in the dark, the more of this, is that fuzz? It's called noise. The more of this you will get. I could get rid of it. Sure. Let me show you what happens if I really just like hardcore get rid of it. Alright, so I've gotten rid of all the noise. But you see how he doesn't even look real anymore? He looks plastic. Like it takes away from how strong the piece was before. So a little bit of fuzz doesn't really bother me as much as what's going on in the story. That's the important thing. That looks nice. Of course it did. Do I want... See, gosh, dude. I like it here. I like it here because if I really feel like if I take it much farther than this, it would totally take away from it. Like it would take all the character out of it. You know? Let me see. Fill. Fit. Fill. 1:1 ratio. Mm, 3:1. It'll be alright. My decision is I'm gonna stop right here and leave it alone before I screw it up. Alright, let's get back to, again, same guy. This guy was on point with everything that he was doing. Like, he was really good. I really wish that I was not in such an uncomfortable position, and I probably could have taken better shots. But, you know, you work with what you have. So I'm going to put a little bit more clarity on it, because clarity does bring up the light. I have yet to figure out why. I guess I could go look that up. but I'm lazy. I'm lying. I just haven't looked it up yet. I'll look up everything. All right. No, that had some really good curves, and you wouldn't be if I did this. If I raised up the highlights, I would eventually lose little black doodly dads in the middle. Like they wouldn't look as strong. So I like that. That's what I can do with whites. See all that does is so far it's just there's not enough light anywhere where it would blow out his body. So what I will have to do is raise up the exposure so that I can see him. No, to here. And then I'd have to bring in the shadows. And that's really kind of as much as I could do unless I just went for it and just said screw it, you know, just make it all about this guy. See, he'll be right in the middle. How much fun is that? I'm not a put things in the middle kind of person. Nah, I don't like that at all. No, I don't like it. There's not enough, it's not enough story. That looks better. Yeah, that looks better. 3. Got all my lines going in the right direction. I guess it's alright. This guy right here, though, he was pretty friggin' boss. Let me tell you. Like, I don't know what his name is, but let's see what he's doing here and what we can do with him. Alrighty then. Let's see what his face is doing. He's looking down. That does look pretty awesome, though. Alright. Well, before I do that, again, let me turn this up. There are times when you're doing portraits, you have to be very careful using Clarify. Clarify can make somebody look like a friggin' monster. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. So, because it's like super uber sharpening, and it's not even that. It's kind of like embossing, sorta, in a way. Wish you could see the expression on my face because I'm like, you know. Anyway, so, but, you know, to me, I'm tempted to upload these shots to my Troll Kit stock shots that I have on DeviantArt. I have 2 DeviantArts. I've been pretty lucky, like on both of those accounts I got a DD, which was pretty cool, but way back in the day. And then I kind of got caught up in things like going back to school, and but on the upside, I'm super smart and I'm on the dean list. Oh my god. But I mean, I got caught up in that, and then of course, you know, my daughter ended up really pouring herself into school, so I had to pour my attention into her. It's those mommy choices that you make. Like, okay, well, it could be about me, It could be about her. I mean, there are those super women who go out there and try to do it all. But I'm going to tell you like this, dude. The reality is that you have to really be in a position to pull something like that off. You know, I I stopped when I realized that I was getting really distracted by what was going on in my life versus what was going on in school. I stopped while I was ahead, and I was like, okay, well, I will finish this up when I get the opportunity. And the opportunity came now that she's going to college. Now I can go back to school again and really get back into my photography. What I want to do is I've picked up a hobby because of her. I picked up a hobby of learning languages. And do I know a lot of them? Do I know any? Dude, I couldn't speak to you in another language for love nor money. But here's the thing. I can recognize a lot of languages. I can look at something that's written down and I can tell you probably what language that is in. Like, I mean, you know, I definitely know the difference between Chinese, Japanese, Korean, I think it's Hindi and Arabic. They all look nothing alike to me now. Portuguese looks one way, Spanish looks another, French, of course, looks like French. But those are romantic languages. You're talking about Portuguese, Spanish, and French. And those are based in Latin. And like Italian too is based in Latin. And I am learning how to write Hangul, which is Korean, but I think it's Hangul because they pronounce their RL. And I'm slowly but surely learning my letters in Japanese. Not easy at all. Well, it's not that it's hard. It's not that. What it is that I learned Korean first because it's phonic based, and it's not just that, it's like shape based, you know. The letters are based on how you would pronounce it with your mouth, and that seemed a lot simpler. Can I read all of it? No. But I can read some of it. So it's do I know what it all means? No. I know very few words. But I'm learning. I probably know as many words in Korean as I do in Spanish, which is not a lot. Chinese, I know some Chinese. And the reason why I started learning some Chinese is because she was in the Chinese Honor Society. And she was bringing it home. So I was learning it from there. Also, I think I want to go black and white with that. Let's see what that does. Do something freaking cool with it. High contrast. Ooh. Which one? Just red or... Well, I can fix it into high darker than that if I want. I have more leeway this way. So I learned... I was reading, me and one of my daughters were taking Russian and had to stop because I was confusing my Russian with my algebra. Don't ask. So I was like, oh, I have to go back to that. But I had a marvelous Russian teacher, and I'll never get that opportunity again. Oh, sad me. But I do know a lot of Russian people on Instagram, and I'm sure if I begged for assistance, they'd be more than happy to help me out. I became really interested in not necessarily per se, well, gosh, how do I put it? I am interested in how the language was formed, but that's not my fascination. My fascination is what could cause changes to a language when people move around. You know, the if you watch the language tree, like, well, I don't think it's called the language tree, it's like language families. If you watched how language developed and where it moved to, it according to how people moved around and migrated, it becomes very interesting, because then you get a really good understanding as to what there we go, as to what happens, like, for instance, Korean people, their written language was created during the Joseon period. So before then, and these are, like, don't get it twisted. I don't know what y'all know about Asian culture. I'm going to tell you, some highly educated people. Okay. So China, everybody got their written language kind of from China. Okay. Because that's kind of like where it kind of originated. And then what was happening in Korea is, like, they didn't speak Chinese. They spoke Korean. Okay. And they were like, I don't know what the hell, it was very hard to learn. It was very, very hard to learn, because you're learning a whole nother language and their writing system, okay, versus the language that you speak. So it was very hard to learn. So the king, because of some political situations, was like, you know what, I'm gonna do my own shit. How about that? So he, I think, commissioned someone to, like, he kind of put it out there, like, I need a language. I need a written language that we can do, And this guy was like, boom, I got you. It's really, I don't know the guy's name, but I could look it up. But this guy was like, sure, boom. And he made it. And what he did is he made it very simple. It's like the easiest language in the world to learn how to read and write. And that's not a lie. It's easier to read and write than English. True. So they had their own thing going on. Now, what happened in Japan is their language, their written language, their language was pretty much invented by women. And the women made it phonic, but they also made it with characters that they already knew. So they came up with their own thing too, because they needed it. It's really interesting when you study it, because in China, there was a women's written language too. Like, a lot of people don't know it. There's not too many people who are still alive who know how to do it, but now they're getting girls to come in and learn how to read and write that language. Read and write the woman's language. Very fascinating. It's just like, I took sign language classes, and a lot of people don't even know that sign language actually has its own written language. No shit. So I like that in black and white. I wonder if I should add a little bit more black. Just a little, because after that I would start to lose these highlights right here. See them? These midtones. Okay. The dark shadows, those are like your core shadows. See how that? Okay. All that's like super black, those are like coarse shadows. That's what that pitch blackness is. And then everything that's not super black, like the lighter colors, like this right here. If you were drawing, you draw this, like you make a circle, and then these would be your highlights, and this would be a mid-tone, and that'd be a mid-tone. But see, this is one shape right here. This is one shape right here. See? This is one shape right here. Alright, and actually it stops about right here because this carries around, and this is how you get that form right there. I would invite them. I'll keep this in mind and send it to them so that they can see. I was talking about Morbid and Jasmo, so that they can see and be able to talk about, you know, when having a picture that actually has all of those on there in a really good way of seeing it. But anyway, like I said, this is one of my favorite shots again too, because, you know, this thing he does with his foot, I love it. He's got that blue on him, so now I'm, you know, I don't know if I want to look at that. Look at that expression on this guy's face. He was killing that. You don't even understand right now. He was on point with that shit. I cheated. I used punch because I just wanted to see what it would do. So, oh, and it raised up the vibrance a little. Yeah, that's the question, is that, do I want to get rid of anything? But look at this. Look at this dude's face. He was in it to win it, okay? Like, this guy, if you guys could have been there. See, here's the thing about shadow. You don't want your shadow to make shit look dirty. You want it to be like, boom. You know what I mean? You want it to emphasize, not make it look like somebody threw ashes on this guy. Look at how he did his foot. This is what I'm saying to you right now. Like, look at that. The angle of his leg doesn't even friggin' look real. Yes, this guy was friggin' boss. Okay, so, you know, when you look up and you say, why did she call this Clowns and Nipples? Because I could not stream this through Twitch, as I said before, because, you know, his upper chest could offend someone. So therefore, right now, it is only on Watch Me Work and YouTube. That's where these will be, because I can't put my cool clown pictures on the other one. Sucks. Anyway, I was talking about languages. Okay, so therefore, you know what? I changed my mind. Let me reset that. So, like I said, you learn an awful lot in sorry, I wasn't talking. I was looking at, I'm actually trying to punch this blue. Okay. So I still need to get rid of some more of that color. So let's actually touch the color then, shall we? I'm going to put this back here, and then I'm just going to get rid of all the color on this guy. Let's see, which one? No. We shall not touch the hue. Red, orange. Not as much fun as I thought it would be. Highlights. I don't want to lose this movement right here. You know what I mean? I really don't. Whites. Well, it's kind of boring, honestly. I don't know. Maybe it'll be more fun if I... Yeah, no, I would just... I don't know. I can't say I would just want to... So let's turn down the exposure just a little. I don't like it. It's better plain to me. But anyway, so like I said, I learn from my children all the time. My daughter has been trying to get me to listen to this group called Marina and the Diamonds. And I'm like, I don't know if it's a group. I don't know if it's just a girl named Marina. I don't know if it's a child who lived by a marina and thought that the glistening ocean in the moonlight looked like diamonds. I have no idea. But I guess I will have to break down and listen. I try to listen to everything because I pretty much like everything. I'm pretty open. Like, I like anything from folk music to corn. I'm really picky about rap. It has to be about something beyond bitches and hoes, if that makes any sense. Because as soon as you start saying it, there's different ways of saying that, you know what I mean? Like, it's just a matter of what do you mean by it. And if you're saying it in a derogatory way, then it's like, I'm iffy on it. It depends on what's the story behind the rap. What are they saying? What do you mean? You know what I mean? Like, you could be saying anything. You know, that's all I'm talking about. So you could be saying anything. I'm trying to be very diplomatic about it because there's some that are just like, you know, that doesn't mean that I don't say bitches. I don't say that hoe this and I don't say that. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that there are differences. You know, there literally are differences in how something's being said. So I'm very picky on it. You know, you're talking about somebody who was there when all of this started. Okay? Like, when all of this started, dude, I was there when rap music was just people on street corners playing the dozens. And then it would go from there, you know. And then it was closer to almost like a spoken word kind of thing, you know, where somebody would spit something and, you know, they would have to say something, you know, really, really poetic, you know what I mean? And then we had things happen like Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five and the Sugar Hill Gang. And, I mean, when that happened, I couldn't even begin to tell you how it felt to hear that on the radio when we first heard it. It was like, whoa. Like, people besides us like it, you know what I mean? And then it just blew up from there. It really did. But I remember, dude, when we used to have these festivals downtown Los Angeles. And like once a year, it was, I don't remember, like this kind of like a spring festival or something. And he was one of the, I want to say like headliners, but he was a nice guy. And these girls would just like follow him around. How do I know? Because I followed him around, but not for the same reason. I was just finding it fascinating that these girls were just fluttering up to him, and he was quiet. He didn't have something to say until he had something to say. And if he had something to say, it was real talk. He was that guy. So, yeah, he had all the ladies. Believe that. But, rap music was very freeing. It was an expression. It was more than that. It was, you're talking about a time when breakdancing was not just something that was done in the nightclub. There was a difference, okay? First of all, when it came down to breakdancing, that was straight up. That was like, I can't even describe that to you. I think that a comedian tried to do it once, and he was like, people would have dance-offs. This was almost an answer to the violence that was going on at the time in some communities. You know what I mean? And then, and we're talking about, now I can't speak for any place else but Los Angeles and Venice Beach, because that's where I was. And that's where all of these things were popping off at one time. You're talking about things like skate dancing. You're talking about things like skateboards. Skaters this is when they were first like really coming out, and within a few years, it was like boom, 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 boom. Because before then, everybody was like, well, no, because I have to say that skateboarders and real skateboarders, we're talking beyond there was like this, we were going through like a heat wave kind of thing. And like, we had these little thin skateboards. And then when you got like a board, you've graduated. When you got away from the super small thin skateboard to a real board with their wheels were different. They weren't like the ones on the little skateboards. The little skateboards it would depend. Some wheels went really fast, but they weren't smooth. They were hard. And on the big boards, I'm talking and not working because I'm gesturing with my hands. But the big boards, they were very smooth. And this all started to happen at the same time. And you had a lot of, the kids were, everybody was around everybody. Because at Venice Beach, it was a melting pot of everybody. Okay? From every walk of life. It didn't matter if you were rich, if you were poor, if you were black, if you were white, if you were Asian, it just did not matter there. Okay, it was just different. And every weekend, the poppers, or people, break dancers, would be there. They'd practice all week, and then they would have these dance offs on Fridays and Saturdays out in a park, right out in front of everybody. And it was, it was a time that I couldn't describe to you. I mean, I guess I could if I just kept on going on and on and on about it. But you learned a whole lot then. We learned a whole lot from each other. It was really fascinating when I look back on it. I think you could see the potential in the way things could be. Put some black on there. I don't want to lose his masculinity here, but I'll probably stick yeah, that's alright. So I think I was originally talking about learning languages. So I started learning all these different languages, and what I think I found more fascinating was learning the culture of the language too. Because if you don't know why somebody, the way that they say no in Korea or Korean, they say 안녕. And that's almost like the polite way of saying it. But when they're just saying no, they're like ani, ani, ani. I'm like, no, 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 no. They'll emphasize if you do something stupid, it's hell, you know what I mean? Like, have you lost your mind? So it's almost like with each culture, if you understand the people, you can understand why they would emphasize certain words certain ways. I've looked at some African languages, and like there's a guy you can go watch on YouTube, and he'll teach you click language. Dude, I was like, I tried that for like a day, and I was like, I am just, I slaughtered all the other languages, but hold on a minute. Let me show you what I'm listening to, so you guys know that I'm listening to no copyright sounds. I'm on the all releases list. It's like 244 songs. I think, is that how many? I think so. Yeah. So anyway, getting back to what I was doing. Oh, I remember this. Yeah, he was rolling that up on his shoulder. I'm like, what the hell am I looking at? He looks like he's bareheaded. I don't know, but check out these feet. Telling you guys. This guy was on point. So I probably know a lot more about Korean than I do Japanese, but I do know a lot about Japanese as well. They were scholars, you know what I mean? Like, they've got Katiana, Harigana, and God bless. Let me look that up right now. Japanese written language, and then it'll give me the list. The writing system. It's like, say goodbye to the Lord, sister, because you know there's like 3,000 of them shits. So it's okay. Kanji, kana. Where is it? Kanji, Hiragana, Katakana, and now of course they use the Latin alphabet. And I said something about Arabic numerals. We're not going to go into Hintigana, okay? But I mean, I'm just saying, it's a lot to memorize, but I'll memorize it. I'll figure it out. I'll learn it. They have to, I think their kids have to memorize it. Well, of course they do, but I mean, you know, now the one that that is so hard for me, honestly, is Thai, from Thailand. Dude, oh my gosh, just learning the letters. It's like, you got to learn the names of the letters, and they're like, if you know the names, you know how it's pronounced. And I'm like, nah, but cuz you're not saying, see, you're not saying that whole letter, okay, the way that I have to read it. You're saying a sound from that letter, and you would think that that's okay. Well, I get that, but no, there could be 5 letters for the sound k. Okay. So I have to figure out which 5 letters go to the k sound. Okay. It's mind-blowing. You would think that I've looked at Arabic. You have to connect it, like you have to, and they have different dot. Those little dots are like vowels, okay, and they're sounds, and you have to know what they're doing with that. So anyway, yeah. Getting back to what I was doing here, because I got off topic, trying to think of how to describe what I'm saying to you. How about if I do that one in a red filter? Or, wait, let me see what it took out. Hold on. I bet you just put it on black and white. It did. I see what you did. Where's saturation? All right, hold on. Let's go here, and we're gonna keep everything but red, right? So take out the orange. Who is this? Oh, it's my mother. Well, guys, it's been a party. I've got to go. It's me, mum. So I will talk to you all later. I will come back to the clown with the red smile. Hope I'll leave it here. And then I'll come back and spend more time with you, and we'll talk about this shot right here. See what I'm gonna do with it.